Alright, so with the turbo out, manifolds out from the donor motor, with the silver bit, or excuse me, the gold, reflector gold bit done, it's time to clean out the other side. Now I've got the E8 fitting to get the other bits off, but getting to the oil fitting, so that's something I wanted to do yesterday, but I couldn't get to the oil fitting to get it out because, as you can see, it's just butted up against the manifold. You just can't get it out. You have to take the turbo out. So right now I'm just taking these guys out. Funny enough, they just came straight out, so I'm gonna have to remedy that. They shouldn't just come out easy like that. Just gotta take that one out, turbo comes out, then I can access everything. I really want to get onto the hoses today. That's going to be the day portion of my work. I'm going to cut all that up and get that sorted. But as long as I can get the turbo and manifold off now, I can get ready to, well, just start putting it on that guy. So that's the whole idea of today, to try to get all that done. Maybe I can get all the rest of the fittings done. This flex hose has to get put over there. There's other stuff from here that has to get put over there. So, but this being the major part, once I can get all this off, I can start getting all the other stuff off and over to the other engine. So that'll make me extremely happy if I can get that done. And part of it is I want to blow out some oil through here and make sure I don't have anything inside there. I know it's it'd probably behoove me a bit more to just open it up and see what's going on, but honestly, I haven't seen anything in the lines themselves or anything during that line, but I'm still going to change out all the lines. I'm going to put a pre-filter on this. So anything that comes through the circulates through is just going to get caught. And I'll throw that pre-filter out and in short order as soon as I think that I've caught enough residuals in there. But most of the plumbing is just getting revamped. This, I maintain it as the most pain in the ass part, trying to get that off. But we'll get it. We'll get it. And then, geez. After that, a side job will obviously be take those jacks out, and well, I need to lift the car. I'm going to put it on. I'll put it back on the wheel stand, so I can take the fiber underbit underneath out, and so that I can not on this side but the other side, so I can run the fuel lines. I can pull out the metal line. So that's going to happen soon. All right. Well, that's that. I got the turbo out. Of course, there's a little disturbing noise. Hear that? That means you got some metal shavings in there. That's something I'm going to have to address. So I may end up bringing this inside and pulling it apart, so that I can diagnose that. What's up? So when I was taking the turbo out, I spun this, and just to make sure that you got to check them, especially when some shit like this happens. So I figured I'd do that. Just give it a little spin, see what's up. And you know what I heard? I heard crunches, like fucking, like just taking your hand and just crunching a bunch of fucking cereals, what it sounded like. And I thought, fuck, man, my turbo is toast. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to break it open and see what's up. Worst case scenario is I've got to mail it off to Borg Warner and see what's the deal. See what, have them refurbish it. But right now, so after a shit ton of PB Blaster, what I realized, so here's my oil inlet, and I just pumped it. Now there was some goop in there, and there's just mostly oil but goop. I keep hearing the crunches, and I was like, "What is that, man?" So if you see that in between, you see my finger back, but I don't know if you can see my finger. See my finger? All right. So in there, in that crevice, right between the moving parts and and you could see actually fucking, you could see where it was just ate up some of the moving parts of the exhaust impeller. Um, so shit got in here. Shrapnel just fucking came in here through the exhaust and basically peppered the fuck out of it, and then got in there and fucking caked it all up. So first things first, I cleaned out what was in the bearing area, and it just still sounded all right. But then it started catching again, and I looked in between. I said, "Holy shit!" So I basically took a bunch of PB and just blew it all out, and just kept spinning it till it was clean. And now, I mean, it's just running. Um, Now it is slightly. I mean, I want to say there's fucking. I mean, there's like this slight bend in the shaft, like super slight. But I didn't see any craziness in here. I didn't see any touching or anything like that up in the bear. Like in any of the areas, it's like super clean except for the exhaust, of course. So it leads me to believe that. I mean, there's just slight amount of ding, but just to double check, I'm gonna call like the local Borg Warner distributor in Salt Lake City and ask them what they think about that. In fact, I'm gonna send them a video and ask them what they think. Um, as far as shaft play, I mean, fuck. I mean, I want to say there's a little bit of shaft play, but I mean, it's not enough to really fucking write home about. I want to say this is something I've felt before. Considering the abuse that this thing probably got in the fucking blow up of the engine, um, I mean, this is workable. I can work with this. If it was more than that, I'd probably say that's enough. I've got to look at the compressor side just to double check, but I think it's worth putting it back in the car just to see what happens. If I'm getting smoking or weirdness, then I mean, if there was more shaft play, I'd say no, because this is just gonna fucking blow up on me. And I don't want to destroy the fucking turbo because it's expensive. But it feels good. And since I got the shit out of there, I mean, it just feels good. There's just a little bit of ding all around. Considering the amount of shrapnel I found in the oil pan, I'd say I dodged a bullet. Now, I've got hoses over there. I got that 4AN hose right there. I just made a new feed line setup. In fact, all my oil line hosing is going to be fucking redone because I'm pretty sure that there's shrapnel dug into to the fucking hose. And last thing I need is for it to dislodge and get back in here inside the bearings and give me a hard fucking time, and in the engine too. Wreck my bearings on a new engine. So yeah, so I've got my grease. So I'm gonna grease this up really fucking nice. Put this guy back together and throw it back in the car and see what we do. All right, so it's the next night, and dude, I'm getting back in there. One thing, I mean, I guess for anybody who's trying to attempt to do all the shit that I do, one important thing is research. Like right now, looking at the FSM is huge because it gives you a lot of information, right? And by the way, when you're looking at the FSM, that little wrench inside the square, if it's a black wrench, that's inch. I think is it like inch pounds, foot inch, whatever. It's the other side of your torque wrench. It's not foot pounds. It's the really like light one. I know because I've snapped shit not knowing what I was doing. And then the black one, you see the white wrench on the black, that's foot pounds. So in my case, so I'm going to be putting on my headers today, or my exhaust manifold with the turbs on. and I'm looking at 22 foot-pounds, right? Because it's usually the last one in the parentheses is the foot-pounds. So I already got my rods in. Where the hell does it show the rods? Oh, there we go. It's because I'm looking at it through the phone. 11 foot-pounds. So I already got the rods in at 11 foot-pounds. And now it's time to get the screws in, or excuse me, the nuts in at 22 foot-pounds. Just to keep all the parts that we need nice and tight. All these have been checked, so we're all good on this side. Yeah, it's nice having this here and this here instead of the other way around. We've gotten pretty far. Like I said, the clutch, I don't want to touch it until I get that T55 back, so I'm cool with that. So, I mean, as you can imagine, the plan is today, pretty modest. Get the manifolds. That one's got the turbo on it. We'll put the turbo back on this one. And then put the titanium wrap. When we're done with that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get into some of the wiring. I don't want to get too crazy with the wiring, but I want to start touching on it. I could get onto the transmission for sure, because I did chop this, so I could probably just cut that open, put my butt connectors on here so I can prep it, and then I'll get the other side ready. And I can probably cut some of that harness to draw some extensions out. You know, for this year, I'm just going to be really nice to the car, but next year, I mean, I could really, those butt connectors will come in up, because what I'll do is I'll probably swap them out for some type of connection for each of the wires. Because if I start getting the car into some type of track spec, I really want to be able to pull shit apart faster and easier. That's the whole point of some of this stuff, aside from just fixing a car that blew up. But I don't want to have to pull so much shit apart all the time. I want to be able to just get nasty with it as fast as possible, throw it back in the car and get down the road. So, anyways, so yeah, that's the plan. That, and then some wiring, and then yeah, when T55 comes, clutch swap, and then we're really getting close to fucking putting this bitch back in the car. So, oh yeah, so this part, again, I was playing around with the idea, right, of here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once the tranny is in, I think I'm just going to run this across like this. So to run like this, I just have to basically size it to be right there, and then give it chops right there, probably a little extra, just so that I have, you know, some meat to play with, and then go there. That really takes it away from hot areas, including the downpipe. So, I mean, I'll be right here hugging the tranny instead of on the downpipe. That'll be better all the way around. But getting the tranny in is a pain in the ass, so that we won't connect any of that right away. But I can get onto this. Now, the only thing is, I do need to wait for the daytime, so I can just chop that. So, I don't want to make a fuck ton of noise at night. But I don't have a hacksaw, but I can use a Dremel on it. It'll work out just as good on the other side, hopefully. All right, so a little bit of fighting later. So I'll tell you what, getting these hoses, especially if you forgot to put this one in right, is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Everything else sort of good. You know, when it's worked everything the way it should be. So the and fittings are pretty tight. So I'm fairly confident that the setup's gonna work the way it's supposed to, and it's looking fairly like it did before. Hey guys, what's up? So, all right, man, full day of fucking working on this thing. I got both turb skis on. They're all connected and ready to roll. I have it positioned like this because I'm going to be moving the hoist out of the way. I'll get the flywheel off, so I'll be getting that clutch on here. But I gotta go get a torque set, so that's going to have to slightly wait. I did get all the appliances back on, but I have to get the torque settings for that. I don't want to fucking over torque or under torque that shit. And I gotta get the starter motor on, but I can wait for the clutch to go on first. Then we'll go from there. So I smashed my steel line on my, as you know, if you watched the previous parts on this video series, when I was taking out my motor, I kind of bumped it last time. I took it out back in February, but this time I really fucking finished the deal. So I could either spend $70 for an OEM piece, or I could buy some Cunifer. Now, Cunifer's DOT approved. It'll hold the same, it'll take the same amount of pressure and abuse for power steering system. It's not really a big deal. It's just a matter of malleability. This is more malleable, but it does the same job. Now this is 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. So if anybody's gonna DIY it, I don't know what the thread pitch is on the fitting. I just know it's a 1/4 inch line for it. I mean, I had to. You see here, I kind of had to. I got pretty close with the Dremel because it didn't want to come off. But I mean, this thing fits fine. So, as long as I don't lose these fittings, I'm pretty solid. All I do is get my flare kit, cut the right length out, flare it out, and we're rocking. Alright, guys. Hey, guys, what's up? Alright, so here's the results of my Cunifer line. So, I still need to tune it a little bit. But you can see, I gotta cut some off here. But we're pretty close. I just have to come in with the cutting tool tomorrow and just bend a little bit more and cut it. And I'm working Cunifer line for the copper nickel, by the way, if you don't know what that is, to replace that steel line. And again, my fuel lines, I think they're going to marry up really nicely because this is just going to go around the tranny. This is going to just live right here, and that'll be really good. As for getting to here with my feed line, I have a little bit of extra, so I'll make that fitting and go from there. I think I'm gonna wait till I put the motor back in for this one. Honestly, I think that'd be a smart call. And I have a little extra line. I don't know where this came from. This is in my parts box, but if it doesn't leak, I'll try it out. So here's my twin disc from West Kick In. Twin disc JT. The hard plate, so 700 horses it's capable of, and well, I went ahead and took it off. Everything came off pretty seamless. By the way, if you're going to put this back on, because I had to research it, it should be about 15 foot-pounds on the pressure plate, and it should be 65 connecting to your crank. So, and it's lithium grease all around, because that's what, lithium grease, and then a little bit of lithium grease in the in your bushing, because that's what the manual says. Not too much, because it'll leak all over everything, but just enough, just to slime it up a little bit, so you don't have problems with engagement. Yeah. Now I was gonna try and change out the bushing. I mean, I have 2 bushings right here, but it is super difficult to get that out if you don't have the right tool. I mean, you really have to MacGyver the shit out of it, and to be honest, I don't want to do that. The manual says, in absence of that, if it looks good, you can probably get away with it. So that's what I'm going to do. It looks good. I'm going to get away with it. It's under 20K mileage. The car looks like it's been... I mean, the clutch that came out, I would have shown you the clutch that came out, but I fucking dropped it in oil. But I mean, there was so much meat on that clutch. I mean, this car has not been fucking torn up. You know what I mean? there's less meat on that than there was on my fucking, or there's less meat on that with 8,000 miles than there was on the OEM clutch came off this car. So gives you a concept of, you know, how well that this motor has been kind of used. So anyways, so everything else is good. I'm going to QC the shit out of this with clutch in, bolt the tranny on, right? Get those tranny wires, the tranny to engine harness wires bonded together, and I think we can move on to really getting our head around getting this shit done.